Yes, indeed, Spawnling, it is happening. Welcome to dboTV Episode 3. My name is Duncan, and got a pretty great show lined up for you today. I've got two guests coming on. First up is MoreConsole, the YouTuber extraordinaire. And after we get done speaking with him, I've got Mark Turot from Guardians of Destiny.com, or you might know them from Guardian Radio, pretty excellent podcast. But anyway, so, I don't know. Let's get things started, shall we? That's not supposed to happen. There we go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Okay, there we go. That's a little better. We've got a lot of things going on here, so there might be a couple hiccups every now and then. But anyway, yeah, speaking of hiccups, there, that's better. Well, as I said, welcome to dboTV, weekly broadcast talking about Destiny news, Destiny community stuff, everything Bungie and Destiny, of course. Broadcast every week, so if this is your first time tuning in, I know MoreConsole and the Guardians of Destiny guys are probably bringing me a lot of new viewers. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I do this every week. If this isn't your first time tuning in, like Kermit, thank you for the comment on my shirt. If this isn't your first time tuning in, thanks for coming back. I'm pleased that I didn't scare you away with the last two episodes. Speaking of, if you missed the last two episodes, you can go back and watch those. The archive should be somewhere over there if you're watching on Twitter, and if you're watching on YouTube, it's probably somewhere around there as well. All of the episodes get archived on our Twitch page and on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Destiny.Bungie.Org. So anyway, so I actually have a pretty lean show planned for tonight, mostly for two reasons. First is because I was pretty busy this weekend. I had a bunch of friends come and stay with me, so I didn't have a lot of free time to put together a big analysis of the Vidoc that just came out. There was also another Destiny drawing board talking about Gjallarhorn, new weapon. I've been pretty busy, didn't have a chance to get through all of that, but the good thing is that there are already a lot of great analyses out there for you to find. If you go to the DBO front page, Destiny.Bungie.Org, we've collected a lot of them. You can find them. I know, let's see, Destiny Updates did a really great breakdown of the Vidoc. Rampancy.net, their Anger, Sadness, and Envy podcast, they did a breakdown of the Vidoc as well, and my upcoming guest, MoreConsole, he did a really good video too. So check those out. I'm sure they're doing a pretty great job, probably better than I would have been able to manage as busy as I've been. The other reason I have a really lean episode this week is because tomorrow morning, at about 7 o'clock, I guess it's about 9 hours from now, I get on a train that takes me to an airport that flies me to Phoenix for a layover, and then to Seattle for PAX. And so I've got to get up pretty early in the morning, and I haven't even started packing for PAX yet. So I'm probably not going to sleep tonight. I got a long night ahead of me because I tend to go overboard on packs. I take a camera, a camcorder, at least 3 different microphones, a laptop, mouse. Like I spend a lot of time like coming up with just gear and loading out my backpack and taking a tripod. I've got a really cool Destiny.Bungie.Org banner for group photos or something. So yeah, I've got a long night ahead of me. So speaking of, let's get moving. As always, every week I usually say if you follow us on Twitter at dbo_tweets. I usually do a show announcement, and if you retweet the show announcement, I try and give a shout out to everyone at the end of the show. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, check it out. It's at dbo_tweets, and give a retweet for that. Shameless plug, I know, but nah, what are you gonna do? But moving on. All right, let's talk about my first guest. This is a person who's mostly resides on YouTube. This guy makes a new YouTube video, I swear, almost every day, and just constantly talking about Destiny. I know he used to talk about Halo and stuff. I'm speaking, of course, about MoreConsole. I imagine a lot of you people are familiar with what he's done, because you can't really search for Destiny on YouTube without at least one of this guy's videos popping up. So I've got him waiting. I'm going to give him a quick call on Skype, and hopefully we can get him in and get this working. I know due to time zones, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning where he's at. So I'm really stoked that he's able to come on, and he's staying up this late. So let's try and get him in here. All right, let's see. Alan, video call. Let's see. All right. All right. Awesome.
Hello. Hello.
Alan, how's it going?
Hello. Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. It's pretty awesome, having this chat from one continent to the other. And I hope everybody in the watching the stream can see just fine. I'm pretty sure everybody should be able to hear you. If you can't, let me know in the chat there. But anyway, welcome to the show, MoreConsole. I think I'll just I'll call you Alan, but thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute. I love dboTV. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, so to jump right into it. About how long ago did you start doing your YouTube channel? MoreConsole.
I started literally about a year ago, and I started as a Halo channel because I love Bungie, as I'm sure everyone in this live stream does, and I just kind of got into Halo got into YouTube in that way, and when I heard that Bungie was releasing another game, a brand new game, I had to start covering it, and it's just got really popular.
Yeah, you've got, I don't know, how many YouTube subscribers are you up to right around now?
I think I've got about 23,000, which isn't huge, but it's like for a YouTube channel, but it's pretty cool for like a small channel like mine.
It's pretty big. I mean, you're big on Twitter as well. You've got thousands of followers there. That's pretty cool. Like, how's it been like seeing your YouTube channel and your Twitter feed, sort of just grow over the past you said year? That's what's it been like, getting that many people paying attention to you?
Well, to be honest with you, it's flattering, because I don't know why all these people are like, flocking to see my tweets and watch my videos, but it's so amazing that like this whole community is now kind of being built up around Destiny and about that video game that we love. So it's just awesome to be kind of a part of that community, and I just kind of love doing what I do, really. So it's just awesome that people are kind of that want to watch it. I still find it every time someone subscribes, it's like a minor miracle. I'm like, why are you subscribing to me? But I'm thankful that they do.
That's pretty cool, and it's nice to see that you're such a really positive person. After all of this, Twitter and YouTube fame, You're still stoked for every subscriber you get. How
Dude,
much? I,
it's insane.
I guess my next question is, you put up videos on almost a daily basis at least. How much time are you putting into this? It seems like a lot of work.
Dude, I put like all my spare time into YouTube because it's just I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit obsessed with it. I've kind of become addicted to making videos, and I love like reading all the comments and getting all the feedback. And like I said, I just love being part of the community, and it's become a bit of an obsession, I have to admit. So like all my spare time goes into Destiny, as I'm sure it is with you as well, making this kind of sweet entertainment show that you've got going on here. I bet that takes up a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, it can at times. I don't know. Again, like I was saying earlier, this show's a little lean because I ran out of time this week. But yeah, it's a hobby I enjoy, and I'm sure you enjoy it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be putting this much time into it.
I'm obsessed. Help
but
me.
but anyway, so you've already gotten to do some pretty cool things. So you put a lot of work into it, but you're starting to get things coming back to you as well. You recently took a trip to Gamescom, right?
Yeah, yeah, man, that was insane. Because someone from Activision sent me an email like 2 months before Gamescom actually happened, and they said, by the way, make sure you've got your passport available for 2 months' time. And I was like, what could this mean? I was like really excited, and then nearer the date, they said we're going to fly you out to Gamescom, and I was just blown away. It's something that's never happened before, being flown out, to see an event, a Gamescom event, and it was cool, man. It was really cool.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So you were telling me earlier that you were out there for like the media day, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, like you've got, I think Gamescom lasts a week, and like the first day they open the doors to just to the media, and we got in on the media day, luckily. But and it was still really busy. I was just thinking to myself, if we went during one of the public days, it would have been insane because we were like, because I got to play like the Xbox One. I actually got to use the controller. I
Oh
got to
wow.
play. Yeah, that's such an awesome game.
Yeah.
I got to play a bit of Titanfall, but we still had to queue for like an hour just to play the game, even though it
Oh
was
wow.
kind of a quiet day apparently.
What
But
did
it
you
was,
think of Titanfall?
dude, so epic. It's so good. You kind of got some insane kind of parkour style shenanigans going on, or
Yeah.
you can hop in a mech and stomp people to death. So it's just an insane mix of like high adrenaline first person shooter and stompy mech death. It's insane. It's great though.
So I just noticed in the Twitch chat here, it looks like Waviest says, "Do you think we're gonna take questions?" And I think I'm game if you are. Are you game for
Yeah,
taking some questions from the Twitch chat?
of course, man. Yeah, of course.
Okay,
I'll do.
so I'm gonna ask you. Okay, what did you think about the Xbox One controller? And while you're answering that, I'm gonna tell everybody, to hop in the Twitch chat and start posting some questions. And I'm gonna try and it's gonna be hard to keep up, but I'm gonna try and read a few off. You might be able to read some on your end as well. But anyway, start asking some questions. But first, I wanted to ask the question. What did you think of the Xbox One controller? How did it feel?
It felt really good. If you're a fan of the original Xbox controller, which I am, I absolutely adore it. I think it's one of the best controllers going. You're gonna absolutely adore the improved version because it's they haven't really done too much to change it. They've just kind of tweaked it to perfection. So like the offset control thumbsticks are a lot smaller,
Hmm.
but they it feels right. And you got the D-pad, which feels a hell of a lot more clicky, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like flush with the rest of the controller, so it's really easy to use. And like the best thing about the controller, though, the best new addition has got to be the triggers, like the impulse triggers. You got like rumble feedback in each of the individual triggers,
Yeah,
so that was
that's pretty
really
new.
good.
Did you get to try that out a lot?
I got to play Forza Motorsport 5, and
Hmm.
that gives you really good rumble feedback in the triggers. So it feels really good. But rest assured, basically, you're going to love the controller if you love the original Xbox controller. So it's all good, really.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we've probably got some questions we can read from now. Let's see. Okay. Oh, is it Oaya says more console. Do you have any plans in the future for collaborating with YouTubers in the Halo Destiny community?
I am always open to collaboration with all YouTubers like Destiny and Halo. I love collaborate. I collaborate with like 4 or 5 people, but the more the merrier. And if you're a Destiny or a Halo YouTuber, get in contact with me, and I'll be happy to collaborate. It's all about the community, isn't it? It's like Bungie's all about the community.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to.
I seem to recall. Were you working with Green Skull at one point? Or gonna do
Yeah,
something with Green Skull and the Ready Up Live guys?
yeah, that's right. Me and Green Skull, we're going to be collaborating on some Destiny stuff in the future. Um, we're not exactly sure what we're going to be doing yet, but I think it's going to have something to do with Let's Plays.
Okay.
But we're going to we've decided to like work closely together in the future because I don't know, we kind of get on well, and we've got fairly similar, passionate styles and stuff. So yeah, I can't wait. And Green Skull's such a nice guy as well. He kind of welcomed me into the community, so yeah, it'll be great to work with him.
Okay. Cool. Cool. That'll be cool to see. I'm friends with Green Skull and the Ready Up Live guys seem pretty cool. It'll be neat to see, what you guys come up with together. Let's see
Yeah, for
another
sure.
question. Was it Kermit777 says, "What was the crowd reaction to Destiny?" I guess he's talking about Gamescom. How was the crowd responding to the presentation there?
Well, as you'd expect, it was like a pretty awesome reaction because everyone there was a Destiny fan, and everyone was there to see Destiny, and luckily we got to see the Vidoc kind of
Hmm.
like a couple of days before it came out, so that had some new information. But we also had like a 15-minute walkthrough of the game, kind of like you saw at E3,
Hmm.
and it was like on a huge cinema screen, and it was like the clearest HD graphics. So you could see the tiniest detail in the guns, the tiniest detail in Red Death. The gun with like the
Oh, cool.
the sword bit at the end, the bayonet kind of thing. You just saw everything in immense detail, but the crowd was just like in awe. It was like hushed silence. Everyone was just watching in awe, kind of like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." But yeah, the crowd reaction was sweet, dude. It was good.
All right. What's your favorite class right now? Which one are you leaning towards playing?
I started off loving the Titan. I was
Hmm.
like, it's all about the Titan. He looks like Master Chief. Master Chief rules. I'm gonna be the Titan. But then it kind of moved on to the Hunter because I just want to wear a cloak, a cape, should I say? I just want to wear that damn cape. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna be going for the Hunter. But then again, the Warlock looks sweet because of the old Nova Bomb. So I don't know. There's a lot of. It's hard to choose.
Uh,
What's
uh,
your what are you going for?
I'm probably leaning towards Hunter, mostly because that seems like the class most suited for like long range sniping kind of thing, and that's the sort of first person gameplay that I like. I like to sit back and pick off headshots from afar, but
Dude,
I
I
don't.
like it. I like your style. I'm definitely more of a like up close with a shotgun type of guy. Like I love getting up close and personal. A bit of assassination action as well. I'm hoping that Destiny has assassinations. That'll be cool.
All right. Let's see. Do do do. Ranman10 says, "How do you balance school or work or whatever you do outside, and making videos? How do you find a balance of
Well,
keeping
well,
keeping Destiny from taking over every aspect of your life?"
well, it's extremely flattering that someone would think I still go to school, but I finished school. I finished like university about 10 years ago,
Oh,
which
okay.
would give you an idea of my age. But I work. I got a full-time job, and I just in my spare time, all my spare time kind of goes into the old YouTube channel. So I still kind of go out, socialize, have friends, but it's kind of I don't know, I'm kind of geeking out to Destiny at the moment, so it's kind of enjoyable to me.
That's pretty cool. All right, I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Ooh.
Let's see. What do we have here? Hegemony says boxers briefs or commando, but you. Oh wait, he says that one's for me. Boxer briefs. um, what else? Oh, okay, that's a good question. Lahazen says, "Are you a PC gamer at all, or are you strictly console? Do you put the
Yeah,
console
like
in more console?"
yeah, well, yeah, like as like the YouTube handle suggests, I'm kind of just I just play console games. I don't really play PC games at all, to be honest. It's all about console gaming for me. So yeah, unfortunately, not. I don't do the old PC thing. I use the PC a hell of a lot, but just not to game really.
What console are you leaning towards for Destiny?
That's probably like one of the most frequently asked questions I get, and I'm going for the Xbox One because of the controller,
Hmm.
because it's going to have Halo 5, and because, well, I don't know, I've always kind of been into the Xbox ever since kind of the original one, so it just seems like a natural progression
Yeah.
to have the Xbox One. What are you going for?
I'm probably leaning towards an Xbox One myself. I actually really like the Kinect. I use it. I have a Kinect for the 360, and I absolutely love being able to tell Netflix, Xbox pause, and I can just walk out of my living
Yeah.
room, walk back, and just say Xbox play, and it goes. So I'm really excited about being able to do the same thing, except I'm walking into my living room and saying Xbox power on, and it turns on my TV, my sound system, and all of that. Make me feel like Batman or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's true, man. That is true. I'm
But
actually looking forward to the Connect as well. A lot of people are kind of pessimistic about it, but I think it looks like a sweet bit of kit.
yeah, definitely. I mean, the PlayStation 4 looks like a pretty cool machine,
Oh,
and
definitely.
it certainly seems like Bungie thinks it's a pretty cool machine. So I might get one of those eventually. Maybe depending on what games come out for it. But I'm definitely leaning towards Xbox One myself. Um,
Yes, same here, man. Yeah, I mean, I think Bungie. You're right. I think Bungie really are kind of backing the old PlayStation, aren't they? It's going to have Destiny's going to have like exclusive content for the PlayStation 4, which, again, like I wonder what that's going to be. I hope they reveal that soon as well.
yeah. Well, anyway, all right. Let's see. Do. Hmm. Couple people asking, are you going to make a guild in Destiny?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna make a guild, and if I'm allowed to, I'm gonna call it the Beautiful Bastards, and everyone is welcome to join this guild. I'm not sure how many people you can have in a guild, but yeah, that I'll definitely have a guild, and everyone's welcome to join.
That makes me think of a question. Have you ever thought about um, doing something new with you've built a community, it seems. You've got all these YouTube subscribers and Twitter followers. Have you ever thought about making like a website or something outside of YouTube and Twitter?
I would love to. I would love to do that. It's just that it's just time restraints. It's like I just don't have the time to like build and maintain a website. Otherwise, I would love to do that. I mean, like I said, most of my time kind of goes into YouTube. So if I had the time, it feels like I would love to have like a miniature team that could just help me like grow this and build the community and stuff. I'm sure
Yeah,
you feel the same sometimes with the show and everything, but
yeah, yeah.
as it stands, I'm just like doing the YouTube thing at the moment and Twitter and Facebook actually kind of
Well,
eats up a lot of time.
hey, you seem to be pretty good at it. So if you're good at something,
Thanks,
keep
man.
doing it, right?
Cheers.
But anyway, all right. Well, I don't want to let this drag on too long because I've got another guest to come on the show. So I just
Indeed,
wanted to
sir.
thank you. Thanks for coming on, man. You know.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had an absolute. It's been really fun talking to you, man. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. I know it's like 3:30 in the morning over there, so I guess
It's
I guess I'm
late.
lucky you're staying up late.
Well,
But
yeah, of course, man. Like, yeah, of course. There's like no problem at all. It was like I said, it was like it was an honor to be on this beautiful show. So thanks for having me.
all right, well, I'll definitely have to get you on again at some point. But
For sure.
until then, thanks a lot, Alan.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. So that was pretty cool. Let me hang that up. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, Alan. Sorry if I had to cut that short. Like I said, like you said, we could probably talk for hours about this game. But I have another guest, and I didn't want to keep him waiting. So coming up next, let's see. Let me fix that. So that was more consoles. Coming up next, I have my tip of the hat segment. Sorry. Um, so every week I do a tip of the hat to sort of highlight a person or a community that I think deserves some recognition. Somebody from the Destiny community that deserves a tip of the hat. So this week, my hat is a sombrero. And I have to give a shout out to my friend Ryan, one of my coworkers and pretty good friends. I mentioned he apparently watches the show, which is a little embarrassing, makes me a little awkward, but I'll get over it. But today at work, I mentioned to him that my hat of the week was going to be sombrero, so he made this sweet logo to go along with that. So thanks a lot, Ryan. But anyway, this week's tip of the hat goes to the Guardians of Destiny. These guys have been putting out a podcast called Guardian Radio pretty much every week, and they just recently put out episode 26, which means they've been doing Guardian Radio for 6 months now. It's a pretty good accomplishment, I think, because doing Starside Lounge, the DBO podcast, and I've done podcasts before. It can be really hard to get a group of people together. I mean, Starside Lounge, we haven't had a new episode in a couple of weeks now. We're working on that. We've got some pretty cool ideas on how to switch up the format. But anyway, I know how hard it can be to get a group of people together to talk about a video game, especially one this far out. When these guys started, I was sort of almost doubtful. Like, can you really make a weekly podcast about Destiny? 6 months ago, but these guys managed to do it, and here I am trying to make my own weekly show. So they're a really great bunch. You should definitely check them out. It's theguardiansofdestiny.com, and they put out their podcast Guardian Radio. If you can't find that URL, just go to Destiny.Bungie.Org and do a search for Guardian Radio, and it'll pop up. I think we've announced pretty much every episode they've made. They also do like these sort of semi-weekly V.5 episodes that wrap up a week's worth of news. So check that out. But anyway, tip of the hat, whoop, and then a little bit of that too, to the Guardians of Destiny. So because they've hit this awesome milestone of 6 months, I wanted to get one of them on the show to talk. So I've got Mark Turot waiting in the wings. So I'm going to give him a call, and hopefully we can get him in as well. Let's try this. It'll be really awkward if this goes to voicemail.
What's up, dude? There's
Hey,
no
man.
voicemail, man. I'm here. What's up, man?
Oh, welcome to the show.
What's up, dude? I was just tuning into Alan, man. It's funny hearing Alan say that he's given away his age by, graduating university about 10 years ago. And I know him and I have actually had a discussion before about how we are maybe somewhat the elder statesmen, because him and I have had that very conversation, because personally, everybody here on Guardian Radio is pretty much the same way, dude. We've all are pretty much graduated, 10 years ago. It's crazy. But yeah, so what's up, man? Thank you for joining, for having me come on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out. I know it was kind of short notice. I sent him a DM like earlier today, like, hey, I'm do you want to come on the show tonight? Because I was seriously really close to just canceling this week's episode. Like I said, I've got a pack for PAX, and I didn't really have any time to throw stuff together. So I'm really glad you're able to come on with such short notice.
No doubt, man. No
But
doubt.
wanted to talk about the Guardians of Destiny, Guardian Radio. How did you guys meet? How did you guys come together? You've got it's you, Derek, Chris,
Me,
Craig joined in, and
yeah.
Watts.
And Watts, yeah. I mean, to go back, man. I mean, I've personally been podcasting now for over 5 years. This summer was kind of my 5th anniversary, and it was pretty much. I used to live in New York. I moved down. I live now in North Carolina, which you're in Carolina, right?
I'm not in North Carolina, but I'm from North Carolina.
From North Carolina. There you go. I knew you were connected somehow. And just to keep in touch with my buddies up in New York, which was Chris, and then we had a friend Bill. I was like, hey, let's try and do this podcast. And actually, one of the first podcasts I listened to was Podtacular, which is the Halo podcast. Back when Fumo Jive and JVB were doing it, and I was like, hey, we could do this. We always talk about video games. That's something we could do. And so we started doing it, and found that it's very hard to just start up a podcast and try and because there's so many out there, right? I mean, there's podcasts all over, especially about video games, and that was 5 years ago. Now it's even worse now. There's so many out there. So we actually hooked up with a website at the time called avault.com, who we just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And the gentleman who ran it had just many connections to the industry. And we actually were interviewing industry developers, publishers every single week. I mean, I had Joseph Staten on the show from Bungie. Nice. We had Derek Carroll when Reach launched. And so here we are, these regular gamers just being thrusted into, somewhat the media side of things that we had never done, anything like that. And then Chris and I actually continued from there and did Play and Trade TV. We did a 10-episode stint doing a video show for the video game retailer Play and Trade. And did that for a little bit, and then that's how we hooked up with Derek, because Derek owns Game Insider magazine. Yeah. And so we kind of went over with him, started podcasting with the magazine, and through all that, we were going to E3 and just really loving it. And over the years, I've always wanted to do like a game specific show, and just always being a huge Bungie fan. I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours I spent back in Halo 2. I mean, that was like what really thrusted me back into competitive multiplayer in that. And when Destiny was announced, man, I mean, that was it. So we had Watts came over with us from Avault and Game Insider. We had Derek, Chris, me, and then Craig. Actually, we had done, I think, maybe 4 or 5 episodes of Guardian Radio. And I get an email from this guy saying, hey, I work on the Mars Curiosity rover for NASA. Like, I think your show is cool. I could maybe come on and talk to you. I mean, I almost dropped my phone. I'm like, this guy from NASA is contacting us, that works on the Curiosity rover. And I mean, Craig came on. He was a guest one week, and then he's just a perfect fit, to be on the show and to have a guy who works with things in space. I mean, what is better than that? To have a guy like that on the show. So yeah, so it's great. I hope that people can or it kind of bleeds through to the show that we are all good friends, because we are. But some of us, I mean, we didn't meet Craig until we went out to E3 this past year. And even Derek, I mean, I've only personally met Derek twice, but we've been working together now over 2 years. So it's crazy, man. But it's the way the internet is, man. You can do that.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you've got all this experience with podcasts, and I think it really shows in Guardian Radio. Like, the production quality is really great. You've got all these awesome transition sounds.
Transition sounds. They're called GarageBand sounds on the Apple. Just those little things you put in there, and then it's just like Watts just saying something and me putting like the mouse effect on him. But I appreciate it though, man. Yeah, we do the best we can, to try and have it the best audio quality. I mean, you can see here I have my nice little condenser mic here in front of me, trying to go for the radio feel. But it's I appreciate that, man. We have fun doing it.
It sounds good, and it comes through in the show as well. It's pretty crazy, doing a Skype podcast, with people like all over the country. I mean, there's technical difficulties every now and then, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think I'm having some myself with the video every now and then.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's something with my camera. I don't know what's going on. It keeps it'll be like in and then stretched, and I don't know. This is some HD light. Camera, I have no idea.
It might be your camera. It might be XSplit on my end, just because of the resolution. But I don't know. It seems to work enough.
I just want to point out though. I know people watching on the Twitch stream, you get the awesome effect. I'm looking at Duncan right now, and I'm seeing the behind the scenes of dboTV. And wow, you guys are missing out, man, on what you're seeing right now. On what I'm seeing right now, I should say.
It's mostly green. That's
Yeah,
about it.
green
Green.
kind of looks like the black garden behind you, right?
Yeah, there you go.
A little greenish. Yeah.
But anyway, so how much time do you spend working on the podcast outside of just recording it? I mean, each episode is it's about an hour or so.
Yeah, a little bit
hour
more
and a half.
Yeah. It's funny, you talk about before I came on here, you were saying something about talking hours about Destiny, and I mean, we always joke that we've done 26 episodes. This week was our 26th episode, talking about. I'm not going to say nothing, but I mean, we're just pumping these episodes out, trying to drum up stuff. And a lot of it I want to throw out to our listeners because they keep feeding us emails and topics and things to chat about. And, on Twitter, people are giving us things. And that's really kept the show going because we have all these topics to talk about. I mean, we break down the mail sack every week. But a lot of it is just, following the Twitter feeds, going to Bungie.net, going to you guys, DBO and, all the other sites, Destiny Dispatch, all those out there, and just feeding the stories. And this is literally how it happens every week. Usually Craig and I are pretty prepared for the show. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Other than that, everybody else just kind of shows up. But see, that's part of the beauty of it because maybe they've read some of it, but kind of getting the on-the-spot reactions is kind of better rather than all of us just coming in and we all know the news. Everybody's just kind of drumming it. I mean, the whole point of this show is to just build hype and just build excitement for Destiny. And I hope that's bleeding through to people. I mean, it seems like it is. I mean, the emails, we're just constantly getting emails from people just with topics and, it's just so much fun to do this show, man. We're having such a blast doing it. It's great.
That's pretty awesome. I know I definitely enjoy it. It's starting to become a staple of my Tuesday morning / afternoon commute. Maybe bleeding into Wednesday a little bit.
Yeah.
Before I'd start listening to the Giant Bombcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, which is what 3-4 hours when you're trying to get...
So I try and start that as late as possible and get all my other podcasts out of the way first.
The time commitment is, we record Mondays, we go live on Twitch. Our Twitch stream is more just for people if they want to tune into the live recording. We usually do an after show. We start at 10:30. Usually we hop on around 10. That goes till about 12:30ish, and then I'm up editing that show, which generally now, I've got it down to a science. It's just because I've been doing it so long. And this show is actually fairly easy to edit. I have all the transitions and all that made up. But I'm not going to bed till 2-3 in the morning. And then outside of that, I got to get up at usually 6:30 the next day. So whenever we do the Guardian radio shows on Tuesday, I am just a zombie because I've had 3 hours of sleep, which, hearing Alan talk about, him doing his YouTube videos, I don't even think that guy sleeps. He said sleep time is making his videos. It literally is. Cause even the times when I'm getting set to go to bed or even it'll be 9 o'clock here and he's tweeting out and just tweeting stuff. I'm like, you got to sleep, man. You got to get something, at least an hour or two, right? So
he's a machine. I'm convinced that at some point he was replaced by some sort of android that has a great English accent.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
But so you've been doing this podcast for 6 months now.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite moments from the 6 months? I'm sure you could talk about the other podcasts you've done before as well. Right. But from this one, what are some of the favorite things that you've had happen?
Well, I'll tell you that one of the biggest things for me with this show, and when we started this show, we were going to continue our general gaming podcast, Game Reverb, and it's great to do a general gaming show because you can just talk about gaming. That we're gamers. That's what we are. Anybody listening to this, you're a gamer. You just love to talk about video games, but to do a show that is so focused on this and then hear the passion from people. That was when we got that first email, I was just ecstatic. I was like, wow, we're getting feedback. And then the first community game night we had and hearing people, that we were in parties with playing, mention things that happened on the show or, Watts is kind of, I'm not going to throw Watts under the bus here, but Watts is kind of becoming this little character of his own on our show. Not that we're always making fun of, but it seems like the audience is kind of latching onto that. So hearing people in the chat, kind of going after him and then all these memes that have happened throughout the show. You have pulsating. You just did one there. It's just these crazy moments that have happened, but yet somehow have bled over and people are latching onto. And so that I think is the best moments are those moments that we're having that, things that we don't expect to be hits of the show or to ever be recurring things are suddenly now coming back to us. And that's pretty cool. And then, of course, one of the best things was Deej reached out to us kind of early on when we launched. And then he reached out to us to do the recent community game night we did with him So we had people come on, and you were able to, if you stole his tags, we played Battlefield 3 on the 360. If you were able to grab his tags, you won some prizes. So that was kind of cool.
You had quite a few people grab tags too, right?
We did, yeah, surprisingly. At one point, Deej was hiding in a dumpster in one map, like trying to hide. And then a lot of times he was up in the chopper trying to fly around so people couldn't get him. But yeah, we had 5 people actually get his tags, surprisingly, which in Battlefield 3, if you don't know, you have to basically sneak up and do a melee attack with a knife, and then that gives you the person's dog tag. So to have that happen over, spans of 2 hours, it was pretty good, especially 5 different people to do it. And one guy actually did it twice, which was surprising. I mean, I was lunging as much as I could at Deej if I could find him, but he's hiding in a dumpster, so it's kind of hard.
That's probably pretty terrifying when everybody on the other team is they don't care about winning. They just care about coming and knifing you in the back.
Just to stab you with a knife. A game where you have helicopters, you have jets, you have tanks. People are running at you with knives. Like, how does that even make sense? I have no idea, but that's what our game night was, essentially. It's crazy.
That's pretty awesome. You guys came out to E3 too, right?
We did, yeah, man. We hung out with you guys.
We actually met each other. There was a Bungie party after the Sony press conference. Yep. And so you were there. Derek was there. Who else?
Craig
was around.
Craig, and that was it actually. At the time, yeah. Because we had one of the other writers for Game Insider magazine was there too, but he's not a part of.
Yeah, I've seen that magazine. It's pretty cool. Game Insider magazine is like. It's like a gaming magazine, but you can read it online. It's pretty cool. It's PDF, right?
And we run it through it's kind of it's not a proprietary thing that we use, but it's a service we pay for, and they host it up. And yeah, you can download it on any device, or just when you're online, it has videos embedded in it, everything. And it's game-insider.com. If you go there, there's number one, just a website, which Derek is running all day long, and then we also have the magazine, and it's free. It's a free magazine, free subscription. So
that's pretty cool. So yeah, it was great hanging out with you guys at E3, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see Craig at PAX this weekend. I think he's going to come to the DBO meetup.
Craig will be at PAX. That'll be pretty cool. Some sweet MSL stuff, the Mars rover swag. So if you see Craig there, if you listen to this week's episode, Craig gave a password you have to give out to get the swag. So if you want some NASA stuff, some space rocks. Actually, no, it's not space rocks, but it's some cool stuff he's bringing there. If you want some of it, you got to know the code. He said, which the code, I'm not going to give out what it is, but it's something else, another project that we work on, which you mentioned earlier about the 0.5. They've
got these V.5, just sort of wrapping up news. You were doing it on a weekly basis, but now it seems to be a little more just sort of as it comes, right?
Yeah, I was doing, personally me, because we had some feedback. I mean, the show early on, we had episodes that were 2 hours. I mean, we still have shows. Most of our shows are about an hour and a half. Yeah. And some people are like, your show's too long. I don't want to listen to it. And I mean, hearing you talk about how you listen to a podcast, that's how I listen to it. I may not sit down and listen to the whole thing start to finish. I listen 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there while I'm in the car. So it may take me 3 days to get through a podcast, but that's how I listen to them. But some people just think you need to sit down and listen to it from start to finish. And if an hour and a half is too long for you. So that was the feedback we were getting. So I said, all right, well, I'll put a 10-minute podcast out that's just, here's the news. And I was doing that every week. And then recently I came into another part-time gig doing another podcast for a website, geeknation.com. And I record that every day. It's a news blurb. And I couldn't add another day on Saturday of doing the 0.5. So Craig stepped up. He tried it and just said, I can't really do the news. But then he was inspired by, there's a podcast out called Welcome to Night Vale. And I don't know if people are familiar with it. It was one of the top 10 podcasts on iTunes last year. And it's put out by a book publishing company. And it's pretty much in the vein of an old radio broadcast, like a story. And so we just came up with this idea that we have this crazy, AI basically that we've discovered that is sending all these messages, from the past. And Craig started putting them out, and they sound fantastic. And we have a big fiction that we're building up behind it. And actually this week we introduced a new character on it. The AI is named Strauss. Yeah. And then this week we introduced Lord Garrett, who is the human that actually was dealing with Strauss. And he's being voiced by James Byford, who is Inside Destiny on Twitter, who has an amazing voice. If you haven't heard his voice, he's been on our show a couple of times, and the guy is just, it's incredible.
Deep. I could embarrass myself and try to do an impression, but it just
Nah, yeah, you don't even want to
wouldn't
try, man.
capture that the true
Don't even
essence
try.
of
Just
Byte.
let it ride. Yeah, but yeah, so we're gonna be working with him, and then we have more characters down the line that we're gonna be building up, and so it's kind of this little fictional thing. And then Craig also, I mean, he's incorporating news from around the week, so some people listen to it, and I don't know if they're picking up on that, but there is
It's
Strauss
there,
is
it's
actually
subtle.
also conveying some news throughout the week, kind of in a strange way, but it's kind of in this humorous way, and then again with this built-up fiction that. We're kind of proud of it. I mean, Craig's doing an amazing job with it. When I first heard, especially this week's, when you hear James's voice in it, I mean, I literally had goosebumps the first time I heard it. I was like, wow, man, like it's pretty good. It's awesome.
I know I mentioned production quality before, but the Strauss podcasts are especially just because there's so much more sound effects and stuff going into it, and voice modulation and stuff. So I've been really impressed with how those sounded. Like they almost sound like they could be some sort of extra ARG alternate reality game or something like straight from Bungie. It makes me think of I Love Bees back from the Halo 2 days from so long ago. So
well, hey, they know how to contact us. We're waiting.
There you go.
Craig's waiting, man. He's waiting. So yeah,
that'd be pretty great. Let's see. So you've just finished 6 months of Guardian Radio. Yep. Do you have any kind of plans for the future of Guardians of Destiny or Guardian Radio? Or just keep plugging away at the.
Just keep plugging away, man. The show is. I mean, that was kind of I mean, even you kind of saying it that can these guys really do it every week? I mean, talking to Claude at E3, even Claude saying like, how are you guys doing that? And like that's the challenge that we're gonna face. I mean, but we're stepping up to it, and again, the whole thing is just about having fun. Building hype for this game that everybody is so excited about. Anybody that's listening to it, anybody that's here tuned in the live stream, and just every week to just have fun discussing it, man. I mean, it's going to be such an amazing game. Everything we've seen already, is very exciting. And then just looking forward as to when the game actually comes out and we can start, breaking down quests and loot and just the stories that are going to come out of the game. We're definitely going to have content. I mean, dude, we're putting out shows every week with no content practically. So I can't even imagine when this game comes out, what the show is going to evolve into. But, we're definitely going to, once it's out, kind of structure it a little bit more. I mean, not to say there's no structure now, but, it's very loose right now. But we're definitely going to have to, I think, focus a little bit more once it comes out. Now, in terms of the website, we initially launched the guardiansofdestiny.com to be a fan site.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
But see, that was the thing, man. Once we kind of launched it, and we were kind of writing articles in the beginning, and it was like, man, if we just don't have the time to do this. Guardian Radio is the thing that people are latching onto. Let's just focus on that, and that's kind of where we're going. And we're probably actually going to do a redesign of the site. I mean, we specifically made the site to kind of look the way it is because it was so different. I mean, pieces are moving, and visually it looks great, but for the function now of just the podcast, it's not really filling that function anymore. So I think we're probably eventually going to do a reskin of it. That'll be more podcast friendly because that's really all we're focusing on doing right now. So
hey, just like I told MoreConsole, if you're good at something, keep doing that.
Doing it, man. Yeah, and that's the best part about this community is everybody right now early on out of the gate is doing their thing, and we're all chatting with each other. I mean, the crazy thing is you can go on Twitter, you can go on YouTube, see all the different people putting content out, and probably every single one of us has talked to one of those people at some time, and we're all just pushing each other, which is crazy for a game that's not even out yet. It's amazing to see the community that's building up around it, the how positive everybody is, and just looking forward. I mean, the sky's the limit with it, and honestly, it's probably a testament to Bungie. I mean, Bungie themselves, just the developer that they are, always being very community friendly. The community that they're building around Destiny is amazing. It's great. I'm glad we get to be a part of it, and I hope glad everybody watching this is a part of it. It's fantastic, really.
It's definitely a pretty positive community, and with so many people making content, I'm surprised there isn't more competition or cattiness. I mean, there really does seem to be a lot of cooperation and collaboration and goodwill between people. I know when I was brainstorming dboTV stuff, it was like, what nights I want to do it on a consistent night every week. It's like, well, Monday's out because that's that's when Guardians of Destiny broadcast.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be on the show if you're doing this Monday night. Man. wouldn't be a part of this at all.
It'd be really awkward if I was like somehow stealing you, you know?
Yeah, it would be awkward. Yeah, the show
The other
would
guys
happen.
like,
I'm used to being
"Where's
the
Mark
host,
at?"
man, not the guest. Like that show, I could just see Craig and those guys just staring at their computers, like, what's happening right now?
But yeah, definitely. At least at this point, maybe once we get closer to Destiny launching and the community gets bigger, there'll be more of a sense of competition or something. But yeah,
you know what, man? I mean, there shouldn't be. I mean, this is a video game that we're all playing to have fun. In the end, I mean, that's what it is. And, our podcast, we're trying to make it as entertaining as we can. And, like I said earlier, I mean, Watts on our show, Patrick Watts, is becoming this character to some people that they're just latching onto it and loving it. And that's the entertainment side of it. So, like, we're starting to see that people are almost even listening to our show for us, which is something that we've never had before. I mean, we were always doing it for the content. And now people, I mean, we have this whole thing. And one of the memes that I mentioned earlier is Team Watts or Team Derek. People that are playing on the Xbox One are Team Watts
PlayStation,
on our show. Yeah, people playing PlayStation are Team Derek, and that's becoming this whole split amongst our own little community. But it's all in jest, it's all in fun. Well, I mean, Watts may say it's not in fun because he's pretty serious about it sometimes. But I mean, that's just the way it is. It's just fun, and I think that's how everybody, if we all go into it, especially this game, because yes, it's going to have competitive multiplayer, but the core of it really is this cooperative experience that I mean, really, none of us have really experienced before. So just that in itself, I think, is going to breathe. Just the cooperation and the positivity in the community, definitely.
Well, I definitely have to say I'm with Watts on Team Xbox. And no offense to Derek,
I know, man. I know. Chris on my show, he's definitely there. Craig, I'm kind of split, man. I mean, I will tell you, day one, I'm getting my PS4 day one. And that's just because of the day one exclusives. The free-to-play games is huge for me, especially day one, which I could play them on my PC, but it's great to have them right there. But I'm a gamer. I mean, I do, like I said, I work for GeekNation.com. I do a gaming show, so I play everything. So to me, I got to own it all anyway. So I'm going to have my Xbox One. Titanfall looks ridiculous. So I will have my Xbox One by the time that comes out. And I've said it on our show before, Destiny may be the first game that I actually buy 2 copies of. I'm going to play on both, because especially the community we're building, I want to play with everybody. So it's like I'm going to probably be, just diving into it on both ends, which I hope Bungie, I know we're probably going to be able to make that jump from current gen to next gen with our characters. I mean, how sweet would it be if they just kind of said flat out, your Bungie.net account, any platform you play on?
That would be awesome.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be amazing, because then it would make this decision easier for anybody.
A couple months ago, I walked into a GameStop, and I was going to drop $5 on a pre-order for Destiny just to get the poster.
Right.
This was before E3, and I was like, maybe I'll take the poster to E3 and try and get it signed or whatever, which I didn't end up doing just because the poster was way bigger than I was expecting, and I wasn't going to fly across the country with that thing. But the girl at the cash register, she was like, okay, what platform do you want to reserve it for? And I was just like, I don't know, because I hadn't decided on my next-gen console yet, and it's like, I'll probably end up getting it on at least 2 of them, maybe 3, because I've already got an Xbox 360 and a PS3.
Right,
so, I mean, maybe once the price of the game drops, or maybe if I get a free copy from some contest or something, I'll try and diversify my my Destiny copies. But I was flabbergasted. I was like, I guess I'll go Xbox 360, because I know I have that one and I have friends on that one.
Right.
And I'll probably just end up reserving it again on a different platform. Or
I think that's gonna be it, man, for people as a community. I mean, I've always been an Xbox gamer. I mean, that's where my friends generally play. So it's kind of odd for me to be getting the PlayStation right off the bat. I mean, that's something that I've never done. I mean, I didn't get my PlayStation 3 till way down the line. But this time, like I said, I had some hands-on with the PlayStation 4 at E3 this year, and I mean, the controller felt great. Played a lot of Killzone when we were there, so I enjoyed Killzone, and like I said, that's where I'm going day one. But in terms of Destiny, by the time Destiny's out, I'm gonna have my Xbox One, and like I said, I'll probably be hitting both at that time, especially for like game nights and then. I mean, I want to be able to hit both sides, but some of my crew here on Guardian Radio, they're a little divided as to where they're going, and that leads to many debates on the show.
It makes for a good podcast.
That's right. You're right, man. It gives us something else to talk about, right? Just expand more. So it may not have everything to do with Destiny, but it's a topic that somehow revolves around Destiny, especially with the PS4 appearing in the Vidocs. I mean, this last Vidoc, twice I
Yeah.
think you saw that PS4 controller, and at E3 that was what was in the hands, and even at Gamescom that was what was in their hands. So it's
There
kind of
might not
interesting.
always be Destiny news to talk about each week, but there's always, new console wars news
That's right.
to
That's
talk
right.
about.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've had this, so it's kind of fun. I think everybody diving into it and putting in their 2 cents.
But
So.
I definitely agree with the point you were making earlier, talking about how you guys are getting fans of just your personalities. I mean, you seem to have a pretty great cast of characters on there,
Yeah.
a good variety. It's not just a bunch of the same like-minded guys agreeing with each other with the same personalities. It's like
Yeah.
you can listen to the podcast, and even without hearing the different voices, you can tell the difference between you saying something and Watt saying something, and Derek and Craig and Chris. It's like everybody has their own style of talking about games. I think that's pretty great. It's
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to I listen to a lot of Howard Stern. And so, when you listen to his show, half his show is people arguing, right? And it's the
Yeah.
characters of that show. And so that's, again, that we're an entertainment podcast. Of course, it's built around Destiny, but that's also one of our focuses. And, we literally, we never sit down and plan anything. Like I said, you hear on the show, the behind the scenes, Craig and I are usually the ones that are really prepared. I'm going to say Derek's pretty prepared too. I mean, 'cause Derek, he's got a lot of time on his hands doing the video game stuff, but Chris and Watts just kind of show up, man. And it's, what happens. And that's, people that are there on the live feed, they know that if they go back and listen to the recorded podcast, nothing really changes other than the bumpers are in there. And it's maybe, I cut down some of the clicking or something in the beginning, maybe of, while the intro was rolling live. But other than that, you're getting the show as it is. And, we don't preset anything really up other than, hey, we're talking about this, and we just roll with it. And again, I mean, we've been doing it together for so long that, it's just, and like, I mean, you mentioned earlier about a Skype podcast. It's tough. I mean, even you and me right now, it's
Yeah,
fine
just
because it's two,
two
but as you
people.
start adding a third person, a fourth person, you start talking over each other. And I mean, we have 5. That was part of the decision too when we were bringing Craig in, and was like, do we want to have a 5th person on the show? Because I mean, just 4 alone was hard to not be talking over each other. But he's come in, and we've all, we've been doing it a while, that it works. And so we're continuing to do it, and we're gonna continue to do it from here on out. 10 years, man, beyond 10 years, we're going all the way through Destiny's lifespan. So, well, I hope we are, but we'll see.
Wow. You're gonna need like some crazy server space if you're gonna have 10 years of weekly podcasts.
I know, man. I know. Well, we have that. We have a lot of coffee. That's what keeps us
Oh,
going.
yeah.
And I'm sure people, as soon as I jumped in the show here, are like, this guy's crazy.
This is
Like, just
water.
talking loud and fast. But we drink a lot of coffee on Guardian Radio. That's pretty much what happens. So
That's awesome.
it keeps us going.
But anyway, all right. Well, I guess that sort of covers everything I wanted to talk about. I wanted to
Awesome.
thank you for coming on. Did you have anything you wanted to plug? I know you've got Geek Nation.
Yeah,
every
I
day,
do.
right?
Yeah, every day, Monday through Friday, Geek Nation Gaming News. It's hosted at geeknation.com. I mean, the namesake is in the name of it. And it's about 10 to 15 minutes, just a breakdown of the news of the day. And it's actually a really awesome site. If you guys are into podcasts and that, check it out. I mean, they have video shows, they have audio podcasts, and their major focus more is just in entertainment. I'm kind of their first foray into gaming. I mean, they do some gaming articles and that, but there are no gaming podcasts. It's all more, press of movies and stuff like that. I mean, last week we had the Kevin McCarthy show. He's interviewing Oprah for Oprah's new movie. I mean, so pretty much every movie that's coming out, I mean, he tours the press junket and is interviewing all those people. So it's cool. So check that out, Geek Nation Gaming News. And of course, Guardian Radio. You can find us on iTunes. You can just Google it, go to DBO.
Yep.
You can find it all posted there, or just go to theguardiansofdestiny.com. And you can find us there. So
All right. Well,
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks again for coming on the show. It's a short notice, a
No problem.
little late at night, depending on how late you normally stay up.
It's 11 o'clock, man. It's fine. We're good to go.
But definitely, I'll have to get you back on the show at some point.
No doubt.
Maybe when we hit a year. I don't know.
Yeah,
before
right.
then.
I was hoping to have some of my cast of characters here, but number one, Derek doesn't have a webcam, even though we've been wanting to do video for about a year and a half. Derek, yeah, I know you're probably watching. Go get a webcam. Craig is moving. Chris, I think, is working, and Watts says he lost his webcam. Go figure that. That's classic
That's
Watts.
so
right there.
Watts.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I got to deal with here at Guardian Radio. I'm kind of like the ringleader trying to wrangle everybody together. It just happens every week, and somehow a show happens. So, but there you go. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having us on the
Thanks a
show.
lot. And I'll probably try and record some video at PAX. So maybe I'll get Craig that way.
Yeah, man, get Craig on there, and hopefully he can make his appearance. He's our one-man fire team that'll be there. So hopefully next year, we're hoping to all go next year. We kind of
Oh,
spent
that'd
some
be
of the
cool.
funds on E3, so we didn't exactly have all the funds this year to make it out. But next year, we'll be there. Next year, definitely.
All right. Well, I'll plan on seeing you there then, because I just
No
can't
doubt.
give up PAX. I go.
I've never been to
I
PAX,
discovered
man.
it like I don't know 2 years ago, and I've been to everyone except PAX Australia. I didn't make
Wow.
it down there.
I've
But,
never been to PAX, man. I've been to E3 5 years in a row, never been to PAX. And everything I hear about PAX is that's the one. I mean, E3 is great because it's cool, you're seeing all that neat stuff, but it's very industry, I
Yeah.
mean, you go there and everybody's just kind of, they got their cameras and all that. And, we go as media, so that's cool. So we get to, make all our appointments, but you're not getting the community side of things and just the excitement that people have. I mean, I don't want to derail it here, but I mean, if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me talk about the Division, Tom Clancy's Division.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when Derek and I saw that game preview, I mean, the guy that was showing us the private demo was just like, he was like looking at us like, what is wrong with you guys? Like Derek and I were freaking out looking at the graphics of that game. And then, so, the industry people, a lot of people aren't like that. So it's, E3 is a different feel, but PAX, I got to get out to PAX. And so we'll definitely be there next year, no doubt.
Awesome.
So.
Well, anyway, thanks again, man. Thanks for coming on. And I won't wait another 6 months. I'll get you on the show again.
Awesome. And again, I hope to bring my cast of characters and, get them in here too. And we can talk some Destiny, no doubt.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mark.
Take care, man.
Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Let's see. There we go. So I think that went pretty well. I had a couple video hiccups every now and then. I'm not sure if that was my Skype, Mark's webcam. There's no telling. There's a lot of moving parts here. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. So let's keep things flowing here. Don't really have much else to talk about. But I do have a winner to pick. If you watched last week's episode, I told everybody how you could win a Destiny t-shirt. So this is a t-shirt I got at E3. It's pretty limited edition. You can't buy this in stores. I'm pretty sure the only way to get it is at E3. They might have been giving them away at Gamescom. I'm not sure. But it's an adult extra large, men's extra large. Well, anyway, so if you watched last week's episode, I told everybody the way to win this shirt was to go to the forum, Destiny.Bungie.Org/forum, find the thread about dboTV, and post some sort of feedback, or really just post anything at all. And then I would pick a winner from that. And I was trying to think about how I could pick a winner. Last week I mentioned sort of like putting everybody's name into an Excel spreadsheet and then using a random number generator, but that didn't seem really cool. So I've got, check this out. I have a Bungie swag bag. This is one of the bags of swag that were on sale, I guess, is it two or 3 years ago on Bungie Day. So I have this bag, and I also went and wrote down everybody's name that posted in that forum thread. So Zuju posted in the forum thread. So I'm going to ball this up and put it in the bag. Oh, I should probably demonstrate. The bag is empty. So I'm going to throw this in there. Let me make sure that's nice and small. Alright, so that was Zuju. Chewbacca Waka also posted in the thread, so you get an entry in this little drawing for the sweet Destiny shirt. So let's do that. See, Zach Dart, you're on there. Marmot 1333. Let me throw this in there. Make sure these are all nice and small. Ragashingo. Oh. Mr. Padre. Alright, I need to keep this up. Master Master Biggie. No. Say the DBO admins are not eligible for this contest, especially since Master Biggie went to E3 and probably got one of these T-shirts himself. So that just goes away. Kermit posted in the thread. Oh, Xenos. And last but not least, The Outer Limits. Alright. So that's everybody's name. They're all in there. So I'm going to sort of shake this up. There's plenty of empty space in there, so I'm sure they're mixing. Let's do this. Alright, that's probably good enough. So I'm going to reach in. Reach in. Mix it up a little more. I'm not trying to, like, pick somebody's name out I know. Alright, that's mixed enough. Alright, so here's the winner. Thank you, Swag Bag. I'll pour the rest of these out. But this is the winner. Let's see who this is. Zuju. Zuju, you win the sweet Destiny shirt. I don't know how big a guy you are, but this is an extra large, so it's a pretty big shirt. Hopefully you can wear it. I'll get in touch with you on the DBO forums and get your mailing address and get this right out to you. Do not actually have a contest planned for this week, mostly because I'm going to be spending Wednesday to Wednesday in Seattle. Like I said, I fly out early tomorrow morning, and I won't get back here until Wednesday evening. So next week's episode of dboTV is kind of tentatively scheduled. Hopefully I'll be able to find a decent internet connection at the normal time, and I'm taking my laptop and a webcam, so it's going to look a little different if I do manage to put out the show. But hopefully I'll be able to get that together. I'm going to be recording a ton of video at PAX, around Seattle, at the DBO meetup. If you're going to PAX, the DBO meetup is Saturday at 7 p.m. at Lunchbox Laboratory. If you want the full details, go to the DBO forum, and there's a thread pinned at the top with everything you need to know about the PAX meetup this Saturday. But anyway, so next week's episode, don't be surprised if I have to cancel. If I do cancel, I'll make sure everybody knows on Twitter, and on the forums and everything. But it could be a super special episode. You never know. So stay on your toes. Yeah, that'll pretty much wrap that up. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that normal shameless plug stuff. If you're not watching on YouTube, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Destiny.Bungie.Org. The archive of each episode is going to go up there, and since I'm recording a ton of PAX videos, there'll probably be some pretty cool stuff coming out of that too. Another thing I'm thinking about doing is taking each episode of dboTV and sort of chopping it up into smaller segments that might be a little easier to digest. So like MoreConsole's interview, I might chop that up into a single video, and I might chop up Mark's interview or a little chat into another video. So keep an eye out for that. You can also, if you're somebody who frequents Twitter, be sure to follow at dbo_tweets. That's the official Twitter of Destiny.Bungie.Org. You can send us messages there, and we'll respond. If you find any Destiny news that you want to send our way, you can do it there. And you're also welcome to follow my personal Twitter accounts at NCSUDuncan. Speaking of, check that out. Boom! I've actually had this thing ready to go for like weeks now, but I keep forgetting to actually turn that on. I probably should have done it earlier in this episode, but hey, oh well. This thing kind of came together at the last minute. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. stay tuned for next week's episode. Hopefully that'll happen. But if not, definitely in 2 weeks. And hopefully I'll have some really cool videos and new Destiny news to share. Thanks a lot, guys. I don't have a credit sequence this week. That's one of the things that sort of fell off. So I'm just going to go turn this off. As long as I don't hit the wrong button.